All right, welcome everybody to the Founder Show. Hit the pick, hitthepick.com. Go over there. There are always some great videos, free selections, stuff that you can pick up from the great handicappers over at Hit the Pick. And also, of course, subscribe. I mean, David Delano's hot right now. He's on fire, man, especially with his ATS plays. So he's here joining us. You got to go get his stuff. Tom Macrina, Rye Cape. I believe, Tom, you were on the top of the leaderboard for a couple of days. I hit the board for a while. Had a nice thing going on the weekend on football. Kind of stumbled a bit towards the end, but I'm still in the positive money, so that's on the good side of things. But definitely David Delano on the top of the leaderboard when it comes to football. So we are glad to see that happening for you, Dave. So let's just jump right into it and see if we've got any plays that we want to talk about. Just to recap any videos that you've done this week, David, and what some of those free plays are that people can find on the YouTube channel, if you would.
Yeah, so far the free picks I've got over on the YouTube channel with Hit the Pick. I've done college videos. I haven't put up any of the NFL yet, but it is coming. I got to UAB minus. Look, a game that may be overlooked. I got UAB against the Akron Zips minus 12.5. I've got Ohio against Ohio State over 52.5 in that one as well. And there's one more video that's over there, and I'm drawing a little bit of a blank on which one it is.
That's all right.
Over there.
It's all right. Tom, hey, Tom, Rye, you got any videos that you've done this week you want to recap free stuff?
I sure do. I'm actually sweating this athletics game right now. They were looking good until this ninth inning. Boston tied it up. But yeah, I actually have two videos. One for college football. That's going to be Minnesota at the California Golden Bears. Saturday night game, one of the last games of the night. Both teams 2-0 straight up, 1-1 ATS. This is the Gophers' first road game. Why I like the Gophers, I think they're going to have an explosive offense. Neither team actually played anybody, so this is their first test. I guess it's hard to go to Cal. But, yeah, I think Minnesota is going to have an explosive offense. I think they're going to be a top defense. Good rushing team. They have a nice secondary. They can get to the quarterback. Cal, on the other hand, offensively, they have a great passing game. I'm not even going to try to say the guy's name, but Cal's quarterback, he's pretty good. They have good wide receivers. Problem is that they can't run the ball, and on defense, they can't stop the run. So I just think that Minnesota is a more disciplined team, balanced offense, better defense. This number's been bouncing around all over the place. When I gave it out, it was -1.5. Now it's -2.5. It actually hit -1 at some point today. So yeah, Minnesota, take them on the money line, -120. And then for the NFL, I have the Panthers at Cardinals, 4:05 game, CBS. So but Bryce Young, he didn't look great last week. He struggled. The defense couldn't stop the run. The O-line was bad. Cardinals, on the other hand, Murray looked pretty good, 21 for 29, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns. They had a strong ground game. Defense was bend but don't break. They actually held New Orleans to 1 for 4 in the red zone, 4 turnovers. So the Saints are one of those teams that don't know how to finish drives. But yeah, I just think that this Arizona team playing at home is too strong. Bryce Young on the road, can't trust him. And Arizona's won 3 straight home openers. So we're going with Arizona -6.5. Sevens are starting to populate all over the place. So I'd get that sooner rather than later.
I really like a bunch of unders this weekend. I haven't given out anything yet, but man, I mean, that first weekend, we saw a lot of putrid play in the NFL, didn't we, guys? David?
Yeah, I mean the offenses were terrible. It's interesting. I think 12 of the first 14 games, went under the total. And then, of course, then we have all of a sudden an 81-point eruption on Sunday night. And then we had the Monday Night Football game that also went over the total. So ended with a couple exciting games. But, yeah, it was a lot of bad offense. And surprisingly, out of those 12 out of those first 14 going under, who would have thought that the biggest shootout, except for the biggest shootout early Sunday, I should say, was between the Jets and the Steelers, which
right. Which was a
saved
game that I was sure would be an under, right?
Yeah, a lot of people had under 38, and they got close. They both got in the 30s on their own, so it was definitely a strange opening week. And we'll see, though. We might see a little bit of an overreaction to now seeing some of those totals drop, but we'll see.
Yeah, I made a list of teams that really sucked this last weekend. The Rams scored 14. The Titans scored, I think, 6, 7. The Patriots lost to the Raiders. Anybody who loses to the Raiders, that's just embarrassing, especially if you lose at home. The Raiders stink. The Dolphins look absolutely horrible. I don't think they cracked 20 points. The Panthers, I think single digits, right? Or 10 or something like that. The Cardinals beat the Saints, but I think everybody's going to beat the Saints. The Saints are god-awful. The Raiders I don't trust. And, the Chargers are going to run the ball and play defense, mostly. Herbert looked really good, though. Game in a foreign country on a Friday night. I don't know how much stock we put into that. But there's a bunch of teams that just look like absolute crap on offense, including the Lions, right?
Yeah, another one you didn't mention was the Texans as well.
Oh, yeah, the Texans.
Yeah. But I think we're going to clean that up in week 2. So I think we should see some.
So you wouldn't be playing any unders?
I was on 2 overs last week, and they were both went into a lightning delay. So that's how my totals went. But yeah, I'm not really looking at totals this week, or at least not.
Well, okay. Let me just get some opinions then. Okay, so you got the Rams that scored 14 week 1. You got the Titans that scored like 6. They play each other in Tennessee. The total on that game that I saw, 42.5. Thoughts, David? Anything?
Yeah, I don't really love those. Initially you're kind of thinking the under in that one, but yeah, that 42.5 don't really particularly love. I'm actually pulling this up right now because it's so, when you're getting it below that 44 number, not completely crazy about it. You said the Rams and the
did I say the Rams?
You said the Rams and yes, the Rams and Titans, correct. Yeah, and I see that some places already dropped to 41.5. I think I would lean on the under because it's hard to see Tennessee, even though they're at home, to see what the Titans might do. And
the Rams played really good defense.
Yeah,
the Rams' defensive line is really good. So
you see how bad they made C.J. Stroud, struggle at times. So against Cam Ward, it's tough to see him doing too much. But.
Yeah, I could see the scam. I almost called them the scams. That's funny. I could see the Rams scoring some points, but I just don't trust the Titans to score more than like 10. Tom?
Yeah.
They really don't have many weapons. The offensive line isn't very good. I don't know. Cam Ward has a game under his belt. He's at home, his first home game. I think he can ball out. But yeah, I'd go with the under 2, but it's moved too much for me. I think it opened like 45.5. It's all the way down to, I think there's 41.5 in some places. So yeah, it's getting a little low for me. Under, but I wouldn't take the over.
Yeah. Right. Patriots and Dolphins both looked pretty horrible. The Patriots generally struggle when they play in Miami. I have to admit, I think I made a huge mistake on the Patriots. I was very high on them going into the season, and they looked bad. And then is there a team that What's the over/under on the Dolphins coach being the first one fired, David?
He's got to be the leader on that one. One thing I thought that they had a pretty favorable schedule, which might save them, but that also has them having to be in the leader to be one of the first coaches gone because they've got a favorable schedule, and they're not winning games, and it's really trickled over. I know he's got an unconventional style. Some people hate it, but it's hard for anybody to like it when you're playing the way that they are. I mean, this Dolphins team looks soft. Came out looking soft in week 1, against the Colts. I do think that we're going to see some points though in this second game. I know that total of 42.5, but something about the Dolphins offense at home after such a poor performance by both teams, that looks like a game where you're just thinking under, but I wouldn't be surprised if this one goes over the total, but I definitely think McDaniels. I don't I have to look and see when the Dolphins bye is going to be, but I don't think he's going to make it past week 7 the way that this team looks right now.
Yeah. So
Uh-oh.
definitely going a problem. Just I never understand look at the Starbucks Poland. Forbes games is a shot.
Season up or is it just
Joel,
It's not just you.
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was just me as well. Yeah, I don't know if we lost. I don't know if we lost Lou there or not.
All right, well, I'll talk about Miami. They have the locker room drama and all that stuff. Uh, yeah, I think Miami's like covered the last 9 or something like that against
Mm.
New England and Miami. But yeah, I think Miami's in bad shape, and you kind of have to, if you're gonna bet it, take New England.
Yeah, one thing I noticed has been working a lot better for me has been taking the sides. Man, I've been killing it on the sides, but some of these totals been a little bit of a struggle. I heard you say the delays. I'm thinking you were on one of the same overs that I was on. The only over that I played on Sunday. I did have the Monday night football over, which cashed, but one that I lost was I had over in the Jags and Panthers game. I thought we'd see more points in that one. And not to make excuses, I do think that weather delay had an effect. Were you on the over in that one too, Tom?
I was. It didn't really look like there was much scoring to happen before the lightning delay happened. But yeah, I was on that. I actually took that one early, got good numbers, and it didn't come anywhere close to what the total was.
Yeah, Carolina Panthers
sorry
are
guys,
one of
I had a little bit of technical difficulty there. I just finished the thought on the 49ers Saints, and yeah, they're just I don't know how the 49ers are going to score, with the number of injuries they have on offense, and the Saints just suck. I mean, Spencer Rattler shouldn't be a starting quarterback in the NFL. So again, that's another one where that could be 13-7, 17-10. Yeah, I just don't see a high scoring game coming out of that one. Sorry. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, my bad.
I get it. I mean, that was a low total, 40.5. I mean, I'm doing those domes. I mean, you do have perfect conditions, but I see what you mean. I think that I still feel like the 49ers can find a way to generate some offense, but it's tough to
Yeah.
go with the anything other than the under if you're going to play the total.
Yeah. As far as some game picks, Steelers would be minus 146 on the money line for the Seahawks. What's that point total now? If you go point spread, what's that? 2.5, something like that.
There's threes now. Looks like 3 across the board.
half. Threes across the board, so the hook is gone. I wouldn't want to mess with any points there, but I would lean towards the Steelers. What do you think?
I'm not big on the Seahawks this year. I wasn't. Tom. Honestly, I've got so much respect for Tom. Tom, I didn't play the other way, but I think you kind of talked me out of one a little bit. I was thinking about back in the 49ers week 1, but I decided to stay off. I know you were high on the Seahawks, but I don't know. I don't want to overreact to week 1. Aaron Rodgers looked pretty good in that opener. Seahawks going on the road with Sam Darnold. I do like the Steelers in this one. Sometimes though the Steelers, you kind of like them more when people are starting to count them out. But I'm not really sold on Sam Darnold. I think sometimes the playing early, going on the other coast. Nowadays, I think that's one of those things that I think with travel and the planes and the way these teams have it mapped out, I think that gets a little over exaggerated. But I have my doubts about the Seahawks, Tom. Or you think it was just a little bit of a fluke, or is it time to jump off the Seattle bandwagon?
Yeah, I think I'm done with Seattle. They had a few shots to win the game, and they just couldn't do it. But yeah, I think going to Pittsburgh, this is going to be an under game. Both of these teams like to run. Two good defenses. Well, hopefully two good defenses. Neither of them really looked good last week. But I think they're going to be better than, especially Pittsburgh being at home. Their defense should be better.
Yeah, I'm wondering with Sam Darnold and then even seeing how well J.J. McCarthy played. Even though he has struggles early, he stayed with it in that second half. I'm wondering if Darnold, if that's maybe the Viking system over there maybe deserves some of that credit versus we'll see.
Well, it made J.J. McCarthy look good, at least during the fourth quarter.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was interesting. It was a tale of two halves because Caleb Williams, looked great in the first half, and he looked terrible in the second half. And then J.J. McCarthy looked like he was just a fish out of water in the first half, and then he rallies and looks great in the second half and ends up winning the game. So strange how that happens. And then, the weirdest one of the week was I was ready to give up on that Buffalo game at halftime because I had declared I would be a Buffalo fan this season because I'm a kind of a fan without a home. So I decided I'd back the Bills this year. And, I'm thinking, oh, great, perfect. I backed the Bills, and, of course, now they're going to, start choking out games. And they went ahead and had this massive comeback and won that crazy game against the Ravens. So, yeah, that was a couple of nutty games to close out the week. Another weird one was, did anybody watch the end of the Buccaneers Falcons game?
Yeah, I did. I was on the Bucks. I was on
Me
the
too.
Bucks money line in that one. Got a little
Me too.
nervous
Bucks
with
money
that.
line.
Yeah, I got real nervous with that missed extra point there, but they pulled it out. I didn't think that Koo was going to miss that field goal. I didn't. But
No, I thought it was going to go to overtime, and then also didn't the Falcons get like 8 shots inside the 10 towards the end of that game? I was watching multiple games at the same time, so I remember they were down inside the 10-yard line, and they threw a couple of passes, and then they're on third down. There was a pass interference, and they got the ball, I think, at the 3, and they had 4 more tries and couldn't score. So, I mean, that was just bizarre.
But went outside of the end zone. They were bad passes by Michael Penix.
Right. But it was just strange. I mean, you hardly ever see a team get that many shots inside the 10-yard line and fail to score. Just crazy. Who are the Raiders playing this week?
The Chargers.
Yeah.
See, and that's only -3 for the Chargers, right?
Yep.
Yeah, -3. Yeah, I'm almost an automatic play. I'm on whoever is playing the Raiders or the Saints, unless the lines get completely out of hand. I think both those teams are awful.
Yeah, do some 3.5. So that's going to be the late Monday night game. So we got two Monday night
Right.
games. We got Bucks Texans, and the late one is the Chargers and Raiders. And that game's in Vegas. So Chargers, I'm seeing some 3.5. Chargers 3.5 point road favorite there.
Interesting.
Harbaugh is
Well,
pretty good covering the spreads against the West. But yeah, that hook makes it kind of tempting to take the Raiders. They didn't look horrible. They won. Looks like Pete
yeah,
Carroll.
let's not overreact to week 1 against the Patriots, who it turns out are not very good.
I don't know. I think the Raiders are going to be a covered team all season long. I think I'm going to back them a lot.
All right. Well, you and I will probably end up on opposite sides, and you'll probably be right. Let's talk a little college football here. University of South Florida Bulls. All they've done is beat Boise State and then knock Florida out of the top 25 by beating them. And so are we taking these University of South Florida Bulls for real? Because the odds makers aren't. They've got them a 17.5-point dog to Miami.
Yeah, disrespect continues. I thought that was weird. I didn't play the game last week. I thought that it was weird that they were such a big underdog to Florida. But sometimes week 1 it's hard to react to. But you didn't.
I did play that game. Yes, I took the Bulls.
Okay. Yeah. So you thought that line didn't make sense either. Obviously.
Yeah, I was like,
Is Miami getting too much credit for what they did against Notre Dame, or is Miami that good?
No, I think South Florida is getting too much credit for what they did to Florida.
So you think it should be more than 17.5?
I mean, I think it's a fair number, but you can't look past South Florida now, which is an issue maybe that Florida had last week. Miami has to buy. I think Miami has a really good offensive line, so I don't think South Florida is going to be able to get to the quarterback like he did against Florida. I like Miami on the first half -9. That's a play for me.
Do you play a lot of first half?
Yeah, I do. I just think I don't like backdoor covers, and a lot. Like when I break down a game, a lot of trends go in favor of halves for teams rather than full games, which is something I like too. So especially in like the WNBA, Golden State was an amazing first half team. Minnesota Lynx were horrible for first half team. And you could just fade those teams or take the ones that you see that are trending, and they usually hold up. But that's in most sports. I like my first fives in baseball. I'll take first quarter, first half in NBA. I just think they're good bets.
Up here in the Pacific Northwest, we're being treated to some truly horrific football teams. One of the worst teams in the country, I think, is the Oregon. Well, for all of them, they stink. They got beat by a lackluster Cal team by double digits. They only managed to score 13 points at home in their opener. Then they went to BYU and got beat 69-0. They now travel to Hawaii, and it's a rather high line. It's like Hawaii minus like 37.5. But I am really tempted just because I think Portland State is just that bad. And then the Oregon State Beavers completely suck. They're at Texas Tech, Oregon State, Texas Tech. Let me just see if I can pull up what the line is currently. Texas Tech 23.5 to 24.5 is where that line is right now. I think that's a play. Oregon State is awful, and Texas Tech is pretty good. So I wouldn't be surprised if they beat them by 40.
Texas Tech spent a lot of money. I think it's too many points. I kind of feel like this is an overreaction to a bad game that Oregon State had last week. I know Texas Tech is a good team. They paid a lot of money for their team, but I kind of feel like Oregon State can stay within the number.
I don't
A
know.
lot of
Righto.
Oregon State's one of those teams I thought you'd be able to do something. Actually, on the show last week, I picked Fresno State against them to cover, but it's two back-to-back bad games, really. I mean, he gave up 34 points to Cal, 36 to Fresno State. Gets a little concerning. Those aren't the best offenses. What Texas Tech might be able to do with them. I can't touch Oregon State in this game. But I mean, you got to also mention Lou, the Oregon Ducks playing some excellent football out there. That's another one I think against Purdue. They're on a mission. I laid those points against Oklahoma State last week on Oregon, and I think as far as Oregon State goes, I like the big number with Texas Tech, and as far as with Oregon, I like Oregon against Purdue with the big number.
Yeah, that is the bright spot in football in Oregon right now is, of course, the Oregon Ducks, because they have some other teams in Oregon that are truly horrific, just very difficult to watch. I love me some Army, Navy, and Air Force football. I love following that. And, my obscure teams like UConn. So I was on UConn last week, and of course they beat Syracuse, and then I had Navy covering, and I a fairly large number as a favorite, and I had Army covering as a double-digit dog. Now, something you should know about Service Academy football: 80% of the time that a Service Academy is a double-digit dog, they cover. 80% of the time that they're a double-digit favorite, they don't. So if you ever see a big number on a Service Academy team one way or another, there is a clear trend to bet. I haven't made a call yet on Navy, what I'm going to do there, but Air Force, I'm going to lay the 4.5 with them against Utah State.
Yeah, I was on that game last week. That was one we were talking about before the season started, and I was with you. I took Army. I didn't take them to win outright. I didn't know they'd do that, but I did take Army with the 16.5, 17 against Kansas State in that one. Looking at Navy Tulsa on the surface, I haven't played it yet. A little bit of a lean on the over for me. Navy's been a pretty strong team scoring-wise, and they've had some really high-scoring games in the past with Tulsa. I know Tulsa's games haven't really jumped off, the board at the low-scoring game against New Mexico State last week, but I think that we're going to see some offense. So my early lean on this Navy-Tulsa game is the over 53.5.
All right. Well, make sure, guys, that's going to do it for this week for the Founders Show. Make sure you head over to hitthepick.com, get all sorts of good betting advice. There's free stuff that you can get there, plus some really affordable subscriptions for some really great handicappers. So head on over to hitthepick.com. I'm Loud. He's Rye. That's David. We're three of the founders with hitthepick.com. See you next week.